Hello, hello, and welcome to another story time brought to you by ABC Read and ABC Learn, in which we are here to help develop and nurture that love of reading in every child as well as every adult. How are you all doing out there today? Evening, whatever time of day it is, wherever you are around the globe. I hope that you all are doing fantabulous, superberific, in spite of whatever challenges, whatever difficulties that you are being faced with. I hope that you all are extracting the good, taking out the positivity, and saying, I am going to move forward. I'm going to keep on. All right. And I hope that you all have read, or you're planning to read, for at least 30 minutes, y'all. That's what's up. That's what's up. And before we get started, I am going to share with you all a quote from Malcolm X. May peace and blessings of Allah be upon him. And the quote that he said was, people don't realize how a man's whole life can be changed by one book. And of course, he did not mean just men. He meant men, women, girls, or boys. You do not realize that until you start reading, until you start reading more, listening to those read alouds, reading those books on your own. And you will discover and you will see how inspiring, how empowering a book can be, what that book can do for you. As a matter of fact, I'll give an example of my own life. I'm currently reading right now the narrative of the life of Frederick Douglass. And oh my goodness, and how he describes the atrocities, the horrible, torturous things that happened to him, as well as people of African descent, being in that horrible African Holocaust, and how, in spite of, he was still able to gain his freedom. And his first step to freedom he talked about was when he learned to read. And that is why he left us with that infamous quote, once you learn to read, you will be forever free. All right, and there we have it. And let's continue on our journey to freedom, y'all. Bam! That's what's up. Look at this awesome cover of this book I am going to read to you all today. And the title of this book is Mukhtar and the Camels. You all see that awesome camel right there? You all see that handsome boy standing right next to that camel? And the author, her name is Janet Graber, illustrated by Scott Mack. And what can you infer about what this book is going to be about? You see the boy standing next to the camel, and he's looking like he really cares for the camel, right? And the camel, and it's so funny when I look at camels, it looks like they have like a little smile. I don't know what you guys think, but I always thought that with camels. So awesome. Well, let's find out what Mukhtar and the camels is all about. Title page. Awesome picture representing the map of the continent of Africa. Bare feet slap across the hard earthen floor of the Ifton orphanage as children gather in the dining hall to gobble down bowls of warm posho. Sweet smelling steam rises from Mukhtar's bowl and tickles his nose. Eat up, lazy fellow, calls Mr. Hassan, their teacher. But Mukhtar gazes out the window across the dusty landscape. He remembers a time before drought and war engulfed his homeland, a time when his family roamed Somalia, their worldly possessions strapped to mighty camels. Mukhtar had gathered camel dung to fuel campfires. His mother beat thick, sour camel milk into cheese, spun camel hair into thread, wove the thread into clothing. Over and over, his father said, camels first. Always camels first. Camels are treasure. Stop daydreaming, lazy fellow. Mr. Hassan claps his hands. Don't cause trouble, whispers Mukhtar's best friend Ismail. Mukhtar stirs his posho with sticky fingers. My mother and father rest in graves beneath piles of stones. He scoops the porridge into his mouth. I miss my parents. I miss wandering. He stares at the acacia trees dotting the scrubby land. And I miss my camels. The world has changed, says Ismail. I will learn the new ways. Pa, how can you? There are no books. Silence, Mukhtar, calls Mr. Hassan. Time for class. The children follow Mr. Hassan into the dusty courtyard and squat in shadows cast by the sun-baked walls. Mr. Hassan scratches squiggly letters on a blackboard. A dry wind ripples rivulets of sand over Mukhtar's toes. Words hum and buzz in his head like a swarm of bees. Mukhtar fingers the gnarled root he keeps in the pocket of his shorts. Take it, Mukhtar, his father whispered before he died. Use it wisely. The root is all Mukhtar has left of the old ways. A blazing sun beats down. Mukhtar's eyelids droop. He dozes. Mukhtar dreams of a large camel, its brown eyes fringed with double lashes. He brushes dust and mud from its shaggy coat. He slips a sugar lump between its lips, tough as elephant hide. He climbs up behind the hump and feels the camel's rear legs rising, pitching him forward, forward, forward. Chunk, 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 wooden bells clang and clank. Foot, 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 giant feet whisper in the sand. Mukhtar stirs and opens his eyes. 3 camels, tail to bridle, lope through the thickets toward the courtyard. Greetings, calls the driver next to number 1 camel. I am Bashar Muhammad, librarian bringing you books from Garissa. Camels, gasps Mukhtar. Books, breathes Ismail. A miracle, shouts Mr. Hassan, clapping his hands. Number 2 camel carries steel poles, tarps, and woven mats. Number 3 camel bears wooden boxes slung on either side of her hump. The children flock around the camels like fluttering hoopoo birds. Order, order, sit immediately, shouts Mr. Hassan. Ismail, Mukhtar, you are the eldest. Help Mr. Muhammad. Shivers of delight skip down Mukhtar's spine. He savors the sour smell of the camels as he prods tent poles into the hard ground. Mr. Muhammad ties tarps. Ismail lays scarlet and gold mats beneath the awning. Unload the books, says Mr. Muhammad. Spit, spot. Mukhtar strokes the shaggy hair of number 3 camel. Shh, 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 he orders. The camel dips her great head and sinks to her knees with a groan. Mukhtar frowns. Number 3 camel has a deep cut in one of the 2 fleshy pads of her right forefoot. Please, sir. Hurry, boys, hurry, shouts Mr. Muhammad. No time to waste. Soon there are piles of books scattered all over the woven mats. Mukhtar, guard these cantankerous beasts while I supervise the library. But, Mr. Muhammad, sir, number 3 camel. Not now, boy, I am very busy. But how can Mr. Muhammad return to Garissa with an injured animal? Mukhtar frets. Camels first. Always camels first. His father's golden rule. Ush, ush, ush. The camels follow Mukhtar. They slurp cool water at the pump. Mukhtar fills a bucket and leads them to the edge of the courtyard. The camels graze on a thicket of thorn bushes. Mukhtar rubs his hands down the spindly leg of the hurt camel. She growls deep in her throat and nips Mukhtar's arm. Shh, 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 he mutters. The camel drops onto her knobby knees. He splashes water over the deep gash in her pad. Cut on a rock? Mukhtar whispers, caressing her long nose. Mukhtar pulls out the twisted root from inside his pocket. He bites off a piece and chews and chews. When his mouth is filled with paste, he spits the tart mush into the camel's wound. Then he removes his shirt, tears it into strips, and binds the giant 2-toed foot. All better? Mukhtar hums into the camel's furry ear. Bowls clatter in the dining hall. Idle chatter drifts through the windows. Mukhtar smells matok, his favorite meal. How his stomach rumbles for steamed banana. But he is responsible for the camels. The immense animals rest in the shade of the thorn bushes, chewing on cud. They belch and grunt. Mukhtar sprawls in the shade of their heaving bellies. The tangy smell of fresh excrement makes him drowsy. He dreams he is collecting dung for the cooking fire once more. He dreams that his mother's simmering pot fills the encampment with the rich smell of spicy stew. He dreams of sleeping on a mat of straw beneath the stars. Wake up, lazy fellow, wake up! Mr. Hassan shakes Mukhtar's shoulder. Mukhtar rubs his eyes. Time for me to go, shouts Mr. Muhammad, striding across the courtyard. Mukhtar scrambles to his feet. Please, sir, number 3 camel injured her foot. Pish posh, Mr. Muhammad slaps his thigh. What am I to do? I tried to tell you, Mukhtar mumbles. What good is that to me now? Mr. Muhammad scowls. Please, sir, it is fixed. Mukhtar points to the bandaged foot. He knows camels, explains Mr. Hassan. He's a nomad. How old are you, boy? Asks Mr. Muhammad. Almost 12 years, sir. Trustworthy? He's a decent fellow, says Mr. Hassan. Bit of a dreamer. Is that so, Mukhtar? Mr. Muhammad stares. And what do you dream? Mukhtar's heart misses a beat. No one has ever asked him such a question. He crimps his fingers into the coils of coarse brown hair on number three's neck. He dreams of treasuring camels like his father and his grandfather and his great grandfather, back through all the generations of the Somali people. Please, sir, he tugs the librarian's arm. I wish to tend camels. Do you know? Mr. Muhammad smiles. Mukhtar nods. Mr. Hassan, I need an assistant, says Mr. Muhammad. Someone to care for these ornery beasts. Someone like this boy. Myself, I'd rather drive a truck, but trucks are useless in the desert. Mukhtar longs to ride again, to feel a camel beneath him unfolding and stretching and gliding across the sand. He holds his breath. Take him, dear fellow, take him. Mr. Hassan claps his hands. Mukhtar leans into the camel's belly. Ismail pads across the courtyard with a plate of matok. I am to care for the camels. Mukhtar whoops. I shall miss you, my friend, says Ismail, offering the fragrant fruit. And I you. Mukhtar slips morsels of sweet banana into his mouth. But I can visit you each time I bring books to the orphanage. Yes, indeed, says Ismail. With books, I will learn to be a teacher. Books delivered by Mukhtar and the camels. Mukhtar claps his hands. Not a lazy fellow anymore. The end. Sorry, did I show the last page? Yeah. Awesome, awesome. And I want to share with you all really quickly the author's note. And the author writes, in the last years of the 20th century, the country of Somalia was devastated by drought, famine, and a vicious civil war. Thousands of Somali nomads fled for their lives, and camps and orphanages sprang up along the border between Kenya and Somalia. Garissa is a dusty enclave of 200,000 people in Kenya's northeastern province. From Garissa, the Kenya National Library Service dispatches a 3 camel convoy 8 times a month to deliver books to schools and orphanages in the hinterlands, where bandits roam and roads are few. And right there's a picture. Awesome, awesome. And I hope that you all enjoyed that story, and I hope it was an inspiration. I hope it inspired you like it did for me. I mean, so awesome to see this young boy, Mukhtar, who really loved taking care of camels, and how it obviously helped him to keep that deep connection with his family, right? Because remember, he lost his parents right through that, the horrible war that Somalia was faced with, right? And how awesome it was for them to be able to get books delivered to where they lived. And also, too, as a reminder for everyone out there, please go to the libraries as much as possible. I mean, you see that from the example of this story, you have people who do not have access to books. They do not have access to books. And so we have to take advantage of these libraries where we can get the books for free. You don't have to have a dime to go take out a book. check out a book from the library. Just make sure you return it. Don't be like me and return them books late, okay? Because see, I can have piles of books and then they won't see them for about, another month, but don't tell nobody about that. Just yeah. But yeah, so anyway, I hope that you all have enjoyed that story once again, and I hope that you all continue to read for at least 30 minutes a day. And remember to like, subscribe, and share our videos. All right? You guys take care and keep reading. Peace.